Hi everyone, it's me Arden Lee and I am back with another video. Now you may have noticed that it's been a while since I posted any videos to this channel, and that was on purpose. While I love creating content and I love talking about the things that I'm passionate about, sometimes what can happen is that when we've been doing things in the same way for a long time, we can actually evolve beyond that way of doing things without really noticing it. And what becomes necessary at that point is a pattern break, a breath of fresh air to leave behind what we've been doing for a little while and give it some rest so that we can later reapproach it with a fresh perspective. Now, those of you who are following this channel for the past couple of years may know that I've had a pretty wild ride. And what I'd like to do now is take this opportunity to tell you a brief summation of my story and catch you up to where I am and what I'm doing in the present, because I'm pretty excited about what is about to come next. In the year 2016, I began down a path of what I can only call spiritual awakening. And if that term turns you off a little bit, I totally get it. It sounds a little out there. And I promise you, I will be unpacking more about what I mean about that. But for brevity's sake, what I'll say is that there were some circumstances that showed up in my life that made it very, very clear to me that I was doing the same things over and over again and getting pretty frustrated with the results. And when I finally hit the end of my rope, I went deep down into the rabbit hole about how our trauma is stored in our body, how our beliefs form, how our patterns form, why we think the things we do about the world. After all, I consider myself a pretty smart person, and yet I was getting frustrated over and over by the same circumstances happening again and again, and feeling like I had no control over my life. So I stopped everything that I was doing and I made that awakening process my first priority. It was a wild journey and I am as grateful as anything that I went on it, because what I understand now is light years beyond who I was several years ago. At the same time, I was recording my EP for my band, Arden and the Wolves, Who Can You Trust?, which came out in 2018. And it was right about 2018 where I felt like I was pretty much done with my healing process. I had learned about everything that I needed to know at that point. I had unearthed all of my trauma, figured out why I believed all the things that I did, and began the process of repatterning myself so that I could take on the beliefs, habits, patterns, and ways of being that would actually support me in creating the results that I actually wanted. And when I released Who Can You Trust?, it was a success beyond what I had imagined. Music journalists, industry professionals, people everywhere who were listening to my music said that they really liked it and they thought that I should really consider pursuing it seriously. Some people even told me that they thought that I was gonna make it. So I decided, yeah, that is what I wanna do with my life. It's been a dream ever since I was a little girl to spend my life singing and performing on stage. I decided, yes, I am going to commit to music and I am going to believe in myself and I am going to pursue this path wholeheartedly. There was just one problem. Making music is really expensive, especially if you don't self-produce, which I don't. I write all my melodies and I write all my lyrics, but I rely on a number of talented professionals to help me actually produce the tracks. And after I put out Who Can You Trust?, I was broke. I had hustled myself into the floorboards to fund that album and its promotion. And when it was out and all was said and done, I had to start thinking about how I was going to fund a music career. I could continue doing things in the way I had always done them before, working in the gig economy, piecing together things here and there, hustling all the time, and working in some environments that, quite honestly, were fairly harmful. Or I could take a break and I could try and figure out how to sustainably support myself and fund my music career with a business that I would have the potential to scale, doing something that I really love to do. And I don't know about you guys, but music seems like a really difficult thing to try and make a living at. There are people who have done it, and I hope one day to be one of those people. But when I was about to make that jump from being flat broke to needing to sustain my life going forward, and music was not the first thing that I thought of that was going to help me pay the bills. But luckily, there's something else that I really love doing, and that was teaching. And I had just gone through this very intense spiritual awakening and done all this research and compiled all of this information that had helped me wake up to how I could create my own reality. And I was really excited about the idea of sharing that with others. In fact, to tell you the truth, it was such a great idea, I didn't even think of it. It was actually someone else in my social media who asked me, Arden, would you ever consider putting together a course on everything that you learn in your journey to heal from your trauma and repattern your life? And I thought, well, yeah, sure, I could do that. So in the summer of 2018, I launched my first ever little baby beta version of my course, The Repatterning Project. And I put it out there, and honestly, I was just hoping that no one would ask for their money back. And what happened was shocking to me in the very best way. What actually happened after the course wrapped up is that as the weeks and months went by, testimonials started coming in from those who had taken the course with me, and they told me that their lives had been forever changed for the better. I won't get into all of that now, although you can read those testimonials if you like. I'll put my website URL in the video description. But suffice to say, I knew I had something pretty powerful on my hands. In fact, I started jokingly referring to it as the Tesseract, because it had emerged seemingly from nowhere. It was incredibly powerful, and I didn't exactly know what to do with it. So I spent the next couple of years learning how to build a business. You guys, I know nothing about building a business. Well, I mean, I do now because I had to, but it was a challenge. And I'll save some of those stories for another day. But in the end, I did it. My goal with my business was to be able to support and sustain myself doing something that I enjoy, and also be able to fund my music career. Once at a business coaching event, someone once asked me, what is your definition of success? And I replied, success to me will be that I can fund my music even faster than I can make it. And I gotta say, I'm there now. Earlier this year, I reached a point where I'd finally clarified all of my offers. I wrote my book during the pandemic. That was a whole thing. And now, sure, yeah, I'll scale my business over time as it presents itself, but the bulk of that work is done. And I didn't get into business to be a 7-figure coach. I got into business so that I could fund the creation and promotion of my music. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. It's not really a secret. Over the past 5 years, my music has been the main vehicle through which I have practiced magic, by which I mean creating my own reality on purpose. Through writing my EP, I was able to heal my trauma. The music that I'm working on now, which isn't out yet, but trust me, I've been working on it, is showing me more and more the incredible potential of how we can use storytelling to write our reality into being. Music is even more powerful because not only does it involve intentional language, the writing of your lyrics, but it also involves a beat. It involves something that literally stirs your blood. Your heart rate can actually change depending on the beat of the music that you're listening to. So it takes those words and it really gets it right into your body. And the more and more that I do this, the more and more I am astounded by the ability of this magical technology to affect and transform my reality in mind-blowing ways right in front of my eyes. But while I've been using music as a way of working magic, what I haven't really yet committed to is using magic to be successful in music. Well, I was building my business for a while and I kind of had to put things on hold. But now there's some space in my life, and for the first time, I get to truly commit to pursuing my music career 100%. And as it happens, I know magic. Why haven't I used magic with my music yet? I use music for magic all the time. Maybe I was scared it wouldn't work. Maybe I was scared it was too big of an ask. After all, making it in music is one of those things that's considered pretty up there as far as dreams go. But if I know anything about magic, there is nothing that I haven't been able to trust with it so far. It got me where I am today. It was for sure the catalyst of my spiritual awakening. It helped me heal from a lifetime of trauma. It helped me to build a life that I'm truly in love with. It helped me cure my codependency. So far, there is nothing that I've tried that magic hasn't been able to accomplish. So, I guess this is it. I want to keep this video relatively brief because we will have a lot to talk about going forward. But for now, I want to invite you on this leg of my journey. I'm going to do it as transparently as possible. I'm going to be creating my reality as I go. And along the way, I'll get to show you some of the ways that I am using magic. So you can follow these videos to learn more about my personal magical practice and start to put some of it into use in your own life if it calls to you. You can also watch and follow along with what I'm learning about the music industry. And finally, I'm also going to be making some videos where I just go out in the world and have some plain fun. Because let me tell you, I have been working really hard for the last 5 years. And along the process of creating a life I'm in love with, sometimes it felt like I didn't have much of a life. And don't worry, I will still be making videos answering your questions about repatterning and about how to change our beliefs and our ways of being so that we can get better results in our own lives. But what results would I really be getting for myself in my own life if I wasn't actually living it? So that's what I'm gonna do. I hope you'll stay tuned. I'm excited, and I hope you are too. Thank you guys for watching.